What's up, y'all? It's your boy Toeknee Tee with another episode, First and the 15th. First and the 15th, your official who's, curated by a country boy abroad. These people either got 5 businesses or they do something extraordinary, and I need you to know about it. So here's their story, y'all. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Toeknee Tee. I'm with a very special person today. I'm with RG, but he has 2 names actually. So which one do you want to go by today?
It's just Roger Gerressen.
Right, not the Dutch way. Roger Gerressen.
Gerressen, yeah.
Yo, shout out to my dog Roger.
Cheers, man.
Thanks for having us, man.
Nice for you to come.
Ain't no thing but a chicken wing. We coming live from Netherlands. We like halfway out of lockdown, not fully out of this shit yet. But today I wanted to come and bring y'all to a personal person I'm working with. He's amazing because he does not only electronic music, but he does hip hop music.
I'm trying to.
So tell me something. How long you been working on music? Let me get my blunt lit first.
Well, music, you gotta like.
Yeah.
I've been working on music since like the early 2000s. I've started DJing. Like for a lot of people, it's the first party, and then you're hooked on music.
Actually,
same goes for me. Only took one party to buy some turntables and to get started.
Were you DJing around here in Nijmegen or?
Yeah.
Okay.
First few years, like the first 3 or 4 years, just in my bedroom, and then there was a DJ contest at Planet Rose, actually, the old venue, which I committed to. I didn't win it, but Darko, the programmer from Doorn Roosje, he recently quit, by the way, but he used to be the programmer. He still thought we were talented, so he booked us not too long afterwards, and then we played there like every 2 months or something.
That's fresh.
So
now tell me, for those who don't know about Doorn Roosje, it's probably like one of the most popping venues now, but they used to have an old location.
yes.
So how was that old location? What was that like?
Yeah, the old location was like pure fucking magic, man. It was like this old raggedy building, like.
Is it bigger than? It bigger?
It was a bit smaller. Like I think the new venue could fit like 1,500 people or something. The old one was like 600 people in the main room, and I think 200 or 300 in the second room.
Oh, but it was 2 kind of rooms.
Yeah, it was still 2 rooms. The main room were the bigger DJs, and the small room, like in many venues, more for local talent or very experimental stuff.
Yeah.
But it was like it was in the middle of a residential area, so it was always like this miracle to everybody. Like, how the hell
the cops don't show up?
Yeah, how the hell is a place like this here? You know?
What were y'all thinking putting Doorn Roosje in the middle of like a neighborhood?
Yeah, but I think like it's been there for like 50 years already before they went to the new building. So. They didn't think about those things back then when when the city planner
thought about it.
Yeah. So when they moved to the new building, I think it was like 5 years ago, maybe more already, because time flies like crazy.
I heard it was recently, like when I got here.
Thanks.
No worries.
Yeah. So it lost a little bit of its charm to me and to the old generation, but I think for new people, Nijmegen got a really nice big new venue.
Now, about how long ago was that though?
The change was like...
No, that y'all first played there.
That I first played there, 2004 was my first gig at Doorn Roosje. So,
damn,
yeah.
I think that's actually when I didn't start getting into music until like the teens. 2004, I was still in high school, bro. God damn, I'm showing my age and you showing your
old, man. That's why I'm wearing a cap, you know?
Ain't no thing.
Gray hair already.
I see him in your beard, but it's sporty, bro. It matches your hat, actually. Like that whole little combination you got.
Yeah, thank you.
So when you first started out, you were already in electronic music?
Not really. That's why I'm still doing hip-hop, because before my first party, before my 18th birthday, I was only into hip-hop.
Okay.
I literally hated electronic music.
Yeah.
Mainly because here in Holland, trance music is like super popular. DJ Chesto,
Armin van Buuren,
people like that. So my only connection to electronics was like their music in the top 40s, and I thought it was shit. So I was really against it. But then my 18th birthday, my friends, they took me to a party, and then I heard this other side. It was still a bit of a corny party. Sensation is like this huge, massive event in Amsterdam, in like a football stadium for like 40,000 people or something.
Is that at the Ajax Stadium?
Yeah, at the Ajax Stadium. It's like everybody.
Shout out Ajax.
I'm a PSV. I know.
Oh, we got a little rivalry.
But yeah, but it was still like all different types of music. But at the end of the night, Michel de Heij was playing, and there's like a Dutch techno legend.
Okay.
And he played like some good techno, and all of a sudden I took some drugs too, I must admit. And all of a sudden this connection hit in my brain that I felt like the same sample or loop based thing that I got from hip hop, you know. So then all of a sudden it sparked a lot.
Kind of clicked a little bit for you.
Yeah. So then then everything moved really fast for me.
I think it's, I mean, to kind of relate to that, I think it's a very similar story for myself because, you know, I actually, I didn't know that you started out with hip hop. I think that's interesting. Now, I should know because you got all this hip hop in your Wu-Tang. Well, you can't see the Wu-Tang Clan, and we were just watching this documentary on hip hop in New York City, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, like, also was kind of brought back to hip hop when I first started making it because, like, I took a step away from it. I felt it was a little negative.
Yeah.
But then what is it about, like, festivals or big-ass events in electronic that I was just like, you know what, this is that good shit, actually.
Yeah. Especially, like, now, like, most people go to a festival, but back then it was, really something that only, like, certain type of people
Really
went to electronic festivals, at least when I was coming up.
Okay.
Now it's like everybody goes to festivals every
It's the
once in
thing
a
to
while.
do.
Yeah. But back then it was really still for just like this group of people. But so yeah, if you're only used to going to bars and stuff and
Little cafes and
little
whatnot.
cafes, then all of a sudden you're in a different type of world. Yeah, it's very appealing to me.
That happened in America as well because festivals came maybe around. I mean, we've always had EDC, Electric Daisy Carnival. They've always had Burning Man, but it only really got popping in the tens, like around 2010 or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then when I started going to what was it called, Dayglow. You ever heard of that? Where you go to like a room, like this big ass venue, they throw paint on you.
No.
Oh man, it's that 5-5, bro. Oh man, imagine Afrojack, but then you got like number white on you and your crew. Y'all are whited out, but then through the night, just paint is coming left and right. But anyway, I use that and I transitioned to my house music, and it's cool. Like for you, if you ever been to a festival, it's like it's one of those feelings that it can be great, but then it can be played out.
Yeah.
I hear that's how Coachella is actually nowadays. But anyway, back to you.
Yeah.
So you first started DJing. And then you slid into the electronic music world. What I know you've played in some places outside of the Netherlands, but where is your favorite place to play? And like while you're there, what is your favorite place or thing to play?
It's a very cliche answer, but I think Berlin is my favorite place to play. Like just the vibe of the city.
I've never played in Berlin. That's fire.
Yeah, the people on the dance floor. You know, you're playing for people who know their music. Especially here, if you're in Amsterdam or here in Holland or in different capital cities, there's a lot of tourism too. And so sometimes when you play in bigger clubs, there's also a lot of people that are there just for the weekend and don't especially know about your music.
Yeah.
But in Berlin, that's different. Everybody knows the tracks.
They know what's happening.
Knows the classics. So you have to up your game a little bit.
I never thought about that.
You always get like
long sets.
Yeah.
Do you prefer the long sets over the shorter ones?
I do when things are going good. Like every once in a while, you have a set.
Now, when you say log set, like what would be log for you?
I've played like 10-hour sets in Berlin. Yeah, that's like a very regular thing to do when you play.
What?
And I'm only smoking the weed. I'm not even taking any drugs then or something. So yeah, it's like a natural energy you get.
That's cool. So that's like a 10-hour set. At some point, you probably have to start in the daytime, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that would make it an adventure if you can start in the day and then take people kind of in the night.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're in a club, you don't really notice.
A lot of clubs in Berlin, they open on Thursday night or Friday night, and Monday night the last people move
They're
out.
skin.
It's like
Now, I mean, we mentioned that you're kind of the genre that you're in is electronic, but what are some styles that you specifically within that you classify yourself with?
Yeah, I always say I'm more of a beat-oriented guy instead of like a melody guy. So all the types of music that I play, house music, techno music, dub techno music, it's always like the tracks that are like really minimalistic or like loop based. Not a lot of build-ups or breakdowns. Or
So like subtle changes, things like that.
subtle changes. I like to use the rhythms to get people in the vibe.
Okay.
So that's how I would describe it, because it's still not it's very hard for me to say I play techno or I play house because I just play everything I like, and
You make it work.
they all have just like a esoteric type of connection, not really a genre connection. So yeah.
I think that makes would make you better of a DJ because yeah, if you can take people on a ride like that where it's not even the same kind of style, they'd be like, I didn't even know I like this kind of shit.
Yeah, that's true. And it's also because I did like many warm-up sets when I played at Doorn Roosje. Like I had to warm up for like many different type of headliners, like
Yeah.
techno headliners, house music headliners, and I had to switch up my shit to
That's kind of like
to
your
fit
secret
into
sauce
the night.
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you had different genres at your beginning.
That's the secret sauce of a lot of warm-up DJs, that they are really good at mixing different types of styles. Yeah.
I remember when I first started DJing, yeah, like your genre of music had to, or your category of music had to be bigger than everyone else's because you had to kind of, you never knew who was going to be there when they first got there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you make music yourself for the camera?
I do. I started that in like 2006, and like
Okay.
the first 3-4 years it wasn't really super serious, mostly because I got bummed out because the quality of the
It
tracks
wasn't
that
hitting.
you play, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're investing all that time in your music and it still sounds like shit compared to the high standard of the stuff you play. So I had like periods of months that I didn't work on it, but then I moved together with a friend of mine in like this really cool house, and then you already have that like vibe of, oh, he's making music, then I gotta make music.
You want to get
this,
creative
this.
too? Yeah.
So that's when I started to do more and more and more, and then yeah, when you first have that moment when your production starts to sound a bit more professional, then you get more excited and you even want to do more about
Exactly.
it.
Then you this is when this is why I call it trapping because then
Yeah.
you stuck.
Yeah,
stuck, you know?
stuck.
Man, like I tried making electronic music when I first started making music. That's why like I started production. But like yeah, it's like you said, that first couple shit it don't be hitting, bruh.
No.
I mean, what would be some advice you tell artists like starting out now, like who like to get over that first curve? Because we all go through it.
Yeah, for me it was like really start making music with friends, because you start learning from each other really fast. Once you hit like a certain point where you don't know how to do something that you want, how to create an effect that you want to, maybe your friend has already bumped into that problem and he can just tell
Fix
you
it for
like
you.
this is how you solve it.
Yeah.
And it's just like you give each other ideas when you work together. So yeah, you get to you get to a certain point faster when you
When you're working with other
when
people.
you're working together. Yeah.
I think that is true, man. I always try to preach that collabs is key. Because, you know, when you work with people, you learn new styles, you learn new techniques. Just sitting in the studio with somebody, you can, like, figure some new shit out.
Yeah.
So, when you make your kind of music, how do you, you know, what do you start with? Because you say you're beat-driven kind of person.
Yeah.
So, do you start with the drums?
Most of the time, yeah.
Okay.
It's always start with a drum, find a good bass line, find some nice pads or synth sounds to get a nice atmospheric vibe going.
Yep.
That's always the most important part. If like within an hour I don't have a really nice vibe going with a beat that could go on for hours, then I know this is not the project. I already move on to a different
You're like, if it ain't popping, I feel you on that shit. Because
Yeah.
if you got to repeat it so often, man, you want to hear that shit. I mean, are you rather quick with making your music, or does electronic music take longer?
You mean to finish one track, or?
Because it has more instruments and elements and things like that.
Yeah, that's, you have to take care of the whole production, but I find that, like, especially for the last few years for me, if a good track is a track that like flows really naturally, that you come up with new elements like on the spot. It doesn't take a lot of effort to get
build
the
on it.
arrangement done, and to if you find yourself struggling on a beat, it's often a better idea to just leave it and move on to the next one. So yeah, nowadays, if an idea works, I can get a track done in like 4 hours, maybe sometimes a day. Afterwards, you always go back into it to do like tiny adjustments, but the main thing can be done in a few hours. Yeah.
I see this so often. Like people who really about their production shit, it's just like bam, bam, bam. Like here we are. Like, this is what we got. I envy y'all who can just be so creative on the fly like that. For me, it takes a little while to think about the shit, and then I gotta tweak a little bit.
It's also just learning certain techniques that you already know. If I do this with the bass line, and if I need like an element, like a synth element, you already know what type of stuff works well together. I always like to do like action reaction in music, like have this thing happen and then have another element do the opposite thing. So you always have that action reaction.
Okay,
like
a front back. Okay.
Yeah, and those tricks, that's stuff you learn. You do it once in a track, and then you use it in almost every track that you build afterwards. So
I be feeling guilty. Like you don't feel guilty doing that?
if it's like a corny trick, then yes. But if it's just like a good trick to make
Give it
the
some
drums
fa-fa.
and your beats fatter, then no, it's just that's your sound, I think.
What do you produce in music in?
And Ableton.
Okay.
Yeah. I use Ableton. I use an MPC most for my house music productions, just for the basic structure, for the beats, for the hi-hats. And I use like a drum computer at Tempest for like.
I've never even seen that before.
Yeah, it's like my my main thing. I have a very modest studio.
Now, did you learn how to play the piano, or did you already know how to do that shit? You just pulled out a fucking keyboard and made some shit happen.
First few years, I was just. The first few years, I was just trying by ear, but now I've learned a little bit of music theory, but still not enough to play. No.
But so this year you learned some music theory. But how long have you been making music?
Since 2006, so that's now 15 years.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and the music theory has only come into play for like 4, maybe 3 years. Yeah.
Now, do you think that is like up to your music quality though?
For sure.
Yeah.
Because I got a lot of insecurities when I was making music before. Like, is this in tune? Is my feeling right on this one? And most of the time it is. If it sounds right for you, to you, then you have to. I always think then that's how you should do it, because that's how it sounds right.
Yeah.
But now I know how to do it, then you see everything falling in the right place much faster when you're building a track. Yeah.
Well, for the future, I mean, after Corona,
Yeah.
did you have anything planned?
Yeah.
Or don't hold on before you say that. What is just give the general consensus of how the electronic music world is feeling right now.
Yeah, everybody is like, I think everybody is tired from it. You see the world opening up a little bit in some countries. They're already doing parties again. I see in Australia there were some parties. I think in some states in the United States they're also just.
Yeah, y'all need to shut down.
Y'all
need to
nothing
shut
happened.
down.
I believe in Miami.
Yeah.
But yeah. So far, my agenda is there's only one thing for the end of the year from my agency. They had a big festival in like Paris.
Oh, that's fine.
It was the first thing that got cancelled when Corona came into our lives. Like last year on the 7th of March, they should have had like a big festival in Paris. That was the first officially cancelled weekend of parties when Corona came.
Yeah.
And they kept postponing it, and now it's planned for the end of this year. But yeah, we don't know if it's gonna.
That's the shit thing, man. It's real like a lot of uncertainty because you want to play in shit, you want to play in your pockets, but then it's like you can't.
It's the strangest thing, man. We weren't prepared for this at all. All of a sudden, our income went from like a decent income that you worked hard for after all these years, and then it went to zero. And yeah, yeah.
I don't know. We can only hope for the best.
We can hope for the best. At least we can use this time to be creative and to get ourselves forward. And
is that how you've been spending your lockdown time?
I've been working now again after a few years of only living off music, so that's been like quite the adjustment. It's pretty hard to find the energy when you're done after a day of work, but here and there I've still been creative, and Last summer I did a lot of music, so it's probably also a little of a winter depression.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's a new season, man. I'm pretty happy like the things are turning around.
I'm so happy with the nice weather. You hear the birds chirping again. It's much nicer to be outside. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we're about to wrap it up. Do you have anything you want to share with the people?
Anything I want to share with the people? No, I hope that we're gonna work on some nice music together in the future, and I'm sure you guys gonna hear some of that be presented to you soon. So yeah, keep your ears open.
Hey. Well, cool, man. Well, thank you, Roger.
My pleasure,
Peace.
man.